Hi, my name is Carl Bubbles from Welcome to San Diego Real Estate. Today on Downtown Dish, we're going to be featuring Resident Brewery and the local. Let's go in and take a look. How we doing today, Downtown Dish? We're here at Resident Brewery with Jimmy Langley, one of the owners of Resident Brewery, and Craig. He's one of our brewers here.
Craig's the head brewer.
Head brewer.
He's what we call the man.
Okay, nice. Craig, you want to tell us a little bit about Resident Brewery?
Resident Brewing is just 2 years old as of a few weeks ago. And basically, we started a couple years ago with Robert Masterson. He had a really excellent homebrewing resume and got to brew a fantastic coconut IPA at Stone. Nice. And that kind of propelled him into being a local all-star, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate American dream where my wife and I bought Robert, my brother-in-law, a homebrew kit for Christmas. And he kind of went Heisenberg on us and just became an absolute scientist and expert on homebrewing. And he started winning a bunch of awards. And after he won the Stone Homebrewing competition for the coconut IPA, we decided that it was time to start our own brewing company, and that's how Resident Brewing came around.
Awesome. How'd you get the name Resident?
It was a long process. Basically, there are 5 partners in the deal, and we all sat down and really struggled with putting Resident Brewing Company in downtown San Diego. But Mina, who had owned the local for many years, wanted to give it a facelift and do something new with it. And her and Scott Dixon actually had the idea to do something new where the brewery was encompassed with the local. And as we got together and we started to think about the type of company we wanted to be, it was very inclusive, and we wanted it to be collaborative, and we wanted everyone to be to feel like a family and to feel like a part of it. And I guess as time passed and we started coming up with names, and I'm telling you, no joke, over 3,000 names we reviewed. Resident really stuck with us because we started thinking about the key and how we wanted it to symbolize having the key to our house, and we wanted it to be not only for beer enthusiasts, but people who were just tasting craft beer for the first time. And we wanted to welcome everyone into our home, and it fit really well with the local, and it just really kind of, I guess, encompassed who we wanted to be as people and as a company.
Right.
And so we went through, we hired a marketing company to help educate us on why that name stuck with us, and what to brand around it and build behind it. And,
nice.
And it grabbed us. Yeah.
Nice. How'd you choose this location, though?
Really opportunity.
Okay.
I think when you looked at the local and what was going to be done there and revamping it, this space was available that the brewery's sitting in, and we really liked the idea of tying it with the local and having the local, but having the brewery separate from it.
Right.
But also connected so that people could sit there and check out the view and check out what it was all about. And that to us was a rare, unique opportunity that allowed us to move forward with this location.
Do you do any beer pairings with the local and whatnot as well?
Yeah, we do all the time.
Events,
so there are items on the menu that actually fit very well with many different beers that we have, and many different items that fit with that. We also do beer dinners at all kinds of locations. We did one last night with Abnormal.
Craft,
Yep, and Setting Sun Sake. And really cool. So we do all kinds of beer pairings with everyone in town, honestly.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, you want to talk a little bit about the brew process and what goes on? I know down there you hold a bunch of your product as well, right?
Yeah, so we have a really unique space here. All of our grain, where the brewing process starts, is stored in our basement down this hole here.
Okay.
So every time we receive our grain deliveries, we have to bring it by hand downstairs and restack it. We have a mill downstairs which crushes the grain.
Okay.
And then we have an auger. You can see these pipes up here are followed into that stainless steel container on the top, which is called the grist case. So we mill the grain. It's primarily 2-row barley, malted barley. It is, like I said, augered up through this pipe work here.
Okay.
And dropped into this vessel here where it's mixed with hot water. This is called a mash tun. So at this point, the hot water and the grain is called the mash. So it sits in here for a period of time, creating a sugary mash liquid called wort.
Right.
Okay. It's then collected in this vessel here, which is our kettle. It's just a huge kettle. This fills up with wort. We boil it. That's when we add our hops, our spices, our coconut, lemon, orange for some of our other beers. We boil it for about an hour. Then it is then transferred through. Underneath here is what looks like a radiator. It's a heat exchanger. So it takes it from basically a boiling temperature to room temperature pretty much instantly. It's transferred through a series of hoses into one of the fermenters that you see over here. And that's when we add the yeast. The yeast is then going to eat up all of the sugar, creating alcohol and carbon dioxide. The
Nice.
beer takes about 2 to 3 weeks to ferment and to finish eating all the sugars. And after that, it is transferred to our bright tank over here. It's now finished beer. This tank is for clarifying the beer and also carbonating the beer. So you get a nice fizziness and kind of accentuates the malt and the hop profile.
Nice. How do you pick what your next flavor is going to be, or what style of beer it's going to be?
Well, the market kind of dictates that.
Right.
San Diego is an IPA heavy city.
For sure.
So, we like to brew beers that we like personally, but we also want to brew beers that that people like here in San Diego, which is mainly IPAs. So,
Right. For sure.
We like to do a lot of things like sours and dark, stouts and stuff like that. But honestly, the IPAs are king here in San Diego, so we've been doing a lot of IPAs.
Yeah. How's the sours? Because I hear that market's up and coming right now as well.
Yeah.
Or it's been very popular recently.
Yeah, sour beers are fantastic. They're a whole, unique product. You see all the barrels here. They're all filled with sour beer, and we have they're barrel fermented. So we add the yeast and we add bacteria and wild yeast all to the barrel. It ferments in the barrel, and they have such a unique flavor profile. So different from any
Right.
or lager.
How long does it take to sit in a barrel until it becomes ready for drinking?
We've aged some of these up to a year in the barrel, and we kind of taste them periodically and feel, when they're ready, they're ready.
Right.
So it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Right. I've heard it's pretty tricky brewing sours as well because it can ruin the other beers.
Yeah, that's something that in such a small space is really challenging because we use the same tanks. We don't have dedicated sour tanks.
Right.
So, I have to spend a lot of time changing all the gaskets and make sure everything is super clean before I take a sour beer out of there and put another clean beer in there. But
Right.
so far, so good. We haven't had any issues.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a small space to be working out of, but even pumping out some beer. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. All right, Craig, what do we got going on in here? That looks pretty crazy.
So here you can see the yeast are hard at work eating all of the sugars that are in the beer right now, and it's displacing carbon dioxide. We have it in water so that no oxygen gets into the tank. We don't want to oxidize the beer once it's fermenting, but we don't want pressure to build up in the tank. So we have it in water so the CO2 can escape naturally without pressurizing the tank.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. What do you want to come back and check out the local and Resident Brewery? We have some great beers here. So thanks again.
Cheers.
Thank you.